Quick update. Today is what date is it? The 16th of April. So we're gone into the beginning of week 3 since the first long-eared owl chick was born. Since I updated last week, we've again had unfortunately bad news. Hate sharing bad news, but it is part of maybe this whole process. The fourth chick, unfortunately, didn't make it. The fourth and last born. I don't know if you remember from the last link we did last week. It was 24 hours after our electricity power surge. And miraculously, the 3 chicks survived the trauma of changes in body temperature. But the youngest, who was just over 24 hours at the time when it happened, he didn't make it. If you look back on that video and you listen to my voice when I'm talking about that little baby chick, I think I can hear it myself when I listen back to it today. I had a hesitation in my voice. He had a noticeable tremor in his head, and I suspect he possibly sustained some brain damage as a result of the temperature loss. I was really sad to see the little fella go because, I did everything I could. And I was really proud of the fact that he had survived such a terrible experience for something like that to happen. So I was a little bit gutted, because he really did try hard, and as I said, he got through the first 24 hours. And I was kind of thinking, he's maybe he'll pull it through, but I silently had a doubt. I didn't like to see that tremor in his head, and he stopped eating that night, actually, whenever the last update was. Just as I said, just one of those unfortunate parts of life that we can't control. But I did do my best. Anyway, yeah. So. But since then, so 4 are now 2. Second chick that was born wasn't a strong chick at all, and as we had said before, possibly a chick that wouldn't have survived in the wild anyway. The chick that the parents would probably have eliminated. I think the last one would have survived had it not been for that unfortunate event. But there we go. Look. Who's to know? Who's to say? These 2 are doing very well. So we're going into our 3rd week. You'd probably notice huge differences in them from the last update. I probably don't see them as much. I had a friend over here yesterday, and he could not believe that they were the same birds he saw a few days ago. He couldn't believe the change in them physically. I suppose I can't think the last day I was just beginning to notice different shades in the down beginning to come through. Are you going to lift up your face? They've gotten significantly dark in the last 7 days. Their eyes are now both open, and actually the orange iris is now very visible in daylight. I'm under artificial light here, so in my dining room. But it's lovely to see. I suppose we're all maybe in this group because we have a shared interest and enthusiasm for an appreciation for the beauty of the long-eared owl. I think they're a really beautiful species of owl. They mesmerize me. I just think they're such a handsome bird, and it's that contrast of the lovely feather effect that they have, and with the sharpness of the eye. I think it's the sharpness of the eye against the contrast of the feather colouring just makes them so exquisite looking. So it's when you, yeah, so I suppose I can really see them beginning to evolve more into little birds now. I mean, last week and the week before, they didn't really look. They didn't really look. I know you're looking up at me, aren't you? Huh? They didn't really look like birds for the first couple of weeks, as baby owls don't. You know, newborn. They're not the prettiest. They're not, you know, I don't mean that. But you know, they're not. But they turn into such remarkably beautiful birds. And so it's nice to watch it. It's nice to see. You know, the ear tufts are really getting noticeable on these two. And actually, this little lady here. Why am I saying lady? Because I just still think it's male and female. But anyway, her face has gotten quite dark, and I've just woken them from their sleep, so they're still a little bit sleepy. Am I probably blocking your face? Her face is getting quite dark. So, what is it? 3 or 4 days of difference between them. Their feet are just growing. They're outgrowing the rest of their bodies. Just as well, I put on the leg ring before the 10th day, which I did, because I genuinely would not have been able to get that U-ring size on had I left it for another 24 or 40, and God knows, 48 hours. I would not have been able to. So it's just I suppose a tip, really. It's only when you see the remarkable changes in these feet in the talon, it just changes significantly. So yeah, the rings are now permanently on, and I've applied for their Article 10 paper, which you know is a regulatory document that accompanies protected species like this, birds on Annex A. And what that document does is it provides for the import and export facilitation of protected species and ownership for trade, I suppose. It's an important piece of documentation. So I've applied for that. It is part of the EU law regulations around governance and that of protected birds, and it's an important piece of law actually. And hey, Mister, excuse me, come on. My dog here has been actually the little jingle bells that you'll hear going off in the background of these video clips is my very inquisitive chihuahua who cannot understand why I am talking to the top of the table because he can't see what's here. And he can't understand why I'm talking down. I'm not talking down to him, so he's really funny. He goes around the table in circles wondering who my voice is being projected to, and he's not getting all the attention. He's very funny. So yeah, so there we are. I do have a portable hand weighing scale. I must weigh them. They've gotten quite heavy. When I say heavy, they're quite full and bulky and a little bit kind of clumsy on their feet. But look at this; they're just into their 21st day and 18 days, I think. So they're beginning to find their feet, as they say, plodding around inside the incubator. They're still in the brooder, but I have the heat well maintained. They let you know actually. They let you know if the temperature is either too hot or too cold with their body language. They keep away from each other if they're too. If their heat is sufficient, they huddle together if they're too cold, and they kind of chirp in a distressed way if they are too hot. So they do let you know. This guy is much more graceful on his feet. I could not get AstroTurf. I had old pieces of AstroTurf that were quite worn and shredded, and got lost in the middle of my house relocation anyway. But I was trying to get AstroTurf over the weekend. I could not get it anywhere. apart from a garden centre, which I won't name, that was charging like €75 or something for a metre of it. It was like, wow, really? I'd rather buy a field. Um, yes, but I did get some last night from a friend of mine. So I have them on. The AstroTurf is much better than this cloth surfacing that I've been using to date. That get a much stronger grip. Now that the nails are firmly established, they actually have got a really good grip with their nails already. Um, but so yeah, they're getting very responsive as well. It's quite comical when I get up in the mornings. They're sitting at the glass window of the brooder, and the kind of the bobbing of the heads is beginning to start. So just kind of small little changes, really really over the weekend. Um, that they are becoming much more familiar and aware of their surroundings, and they're paying an awful lot more attention to detail. Um, I'll just move the camera in here and we just have a closer look. So there we go. What time is it here? It's after 9 p.m. that at night. So they were. I've had them about an hour ago. So they're probably want to go back to sleep. They're look. They're still just babies. They eat, sleep, poop, and that's about it. But as I said, they are beginning to. I've noticed them preening each other as well, which is really lovely to see. Now, if you just look there, you can really kind of notice the ear tufts on the top of that little bird's head. So yeah, we've had a very eventful week here. I don't know if I was telling you the night of the electricity surge there last week. I frantically grabbed everything and came over to my old cottage. It's in a different county, which I had planned to sell. And the strangest thing happened because I brought the brooder over here to try and save the birds, because I hadn't the electricity disconnected, thankfully. But as soon as I came inside the door, because I spent that night here with them back in my old abode, I just realised how much I missed it. And how much I didn't like where I was, actually. Yeah, anyway. So I moved back, and this has been the craziest week. Moving house is kind of up there with some of the biggest stressors in life, or one of the bigger stressors after divorce and after death and divorce. House moving is regarded as a real drama, and we've had kind of pretty much all of those high octane stressors, unfortunately, in the last year. So it's been but moving twice in 6 months is the stuff of nightmares. So it has been a very, very busy week. I know. Are you hungry? Are you hungry? You bite my finger. So yeah, it has been a bit eventful. Kind of just trying to sort out everything. And the crazy thing is, when I moved last November, on the week that I was moving, I had a very, very significant death on that same week, and everything is kind of crazy and chaotic and really, really upsetting at so many different levels. And my move as a result of that was very chaotic, I think. And I had got some people or some friends to help me to move stuff and decide what I was keeping and what I wasn't keeping. And I was gone quite a lot of the time after the loss of my friend, between one thing and another. And unfortunately, some of my kind of just the kind of the little bits you keep over the years, and I've been here for over 30 years. Some of it had gotten lost and misplaced, and there was some stuff as well that I had decided, well, you know, I was thinking, okay, a house move might be a good time to do a spring clean and maybe just unclutter a little bit, because I'm kind of a terror for hoarding. Come on, sit on your feet properly. But in the middle of all of that, as I said, I did have a couple of people in that were in coming from a very, very good place that were helping me, you know, say yay or nay on stuff that I was going to keep or not keep. And one of my my only living possession that meant more to me than anything else, I think, in the memory of my old friend that died, it got lost accidentally, and I have been. It was a picture that Pat gave me a couple of years ago, a good few years ago, and it accidentally got sent to either a charity shop or boot sale, or weren't really too sure which. So it was kind of a bizarre week, because when I noticed that it was gone, and I hadn't noticed that it was missing because I wasn't able to, in the new place, I hadn't kind of pretty much mounted everything where I wanted things to go, and I hadn't, stuff was still in boxes. I hadn't still fully realised, I hadn't realised that it was gone, that it was missing. And but anyway, after some frantic searching yesterday, or over the last week, and making inquiries with people, oh, there's your first pellet. I know, sweetheart, that's the first time I've seen you bring up a pellet. No wonder you're walking backwards trying to get that out. I know. Oh, there you go. Actually, that is her first pellet up. And I think she's been trying to get that out for the last couple of days, unsuccessfully, by the way. But going back to my story, I spent all last week trying to see where on earth that picture would have ended up, and made some inquiries and tried to describe it as best I could. And this loveliest lady arrived out at my cottage. I don't even know, because she didn't know my name. I don't know how she found out who I was or where I was from. I never asked her, and I must do. I'm so grateful to her. But she bought the picture in a cancer charity shop. And she arrived out here yesterday with it to me. And I was like, oh my God, you know. So, I don't know if you can see that clearly, but there it is. That is my favorite picture, because it was given to me by somebody so special. And I know it's just a fruit bowl or whatever, but it just meant so much. So I am eternally grateful to that lady, and I will repay her in some way for her kindness, because we don't often see random acts of kindness like that. And so yeah, it's been a week, as to say. God, that pellet has really given you life, madam, hasn't it? You're full of beans at this stage. Actually, you can see just the wings, how they're grown already. So look, we'll check back in next week, and we'll see how they are by then. Actually, I think she's hungry now that she has the pellet up, and so yeah. And hopefully by next week I will be a little more organised in my house, and it's still not even spring here. Got my first daffodils today. Wow. Only in April, they're normally out in February. So yeah, anyway, look, we'll update again in a week's time, and we'll see how they're doing. But for now, there they go at 3 weeks old. Okay, cheers now.